Sneaker rubber burns the hardwood. Spotlight slams sharp across the rafters at Crypto.com Arena, igniting a pulse that screams Showtime is alive and well. But beneath this familiar buzz, a quiet storm brews a transformation that could reshape the Lakers' very DNA. Purple and gold faithful know that every new season demands evolution. The West is circling, claws out, with contenders tightening their grips, and the stakes have never felt higher. This is no routine offseason tune-up. This is gearing up to vault back into the elite, a relentless pursuit that runs deep in the veins of every Showtime flashback and late-game buzzer beater. Lakers fans lean in because what's coming isn't a tweak. It's a thunderclap shot straight at the heart of championship aspiration. Imagine the locker room, where every gesture flickers with tension and promise. The rotation is a chessboard, under siege. Veterans and rookies alike jockey for inches of sunlight in the sprawling purple jungle. But whispers have been growing louder, like the rising beat of a drum, signaling a seismic shift beyond simple lineups. The off-season chatter began with weight scales and workout videos, spotlighting the silhouette of a star who carries the hopes of the franchise on his shoulders. Luka Doncic at 26, standing to commanding 101 centimeters, he's more than a skill, orchestral conductor of offense. He's a physical specimen on the verge of rebirth. After a season shadowed by critiques of conditioning, his summer shed an astonishing 31 pounds, stripping away the excess like a warrior sharpening his blades for battle. It's a transformation caught on camera and chronicled in the pages of Men's Health *, where Doncic opened up about an all-new lifestyle, revamped diet, strict sleep routines, and a training regimen that could make even the most hardened trainers nod in respect. Now, the Lakers are taking a gamble that echoes beyond the stat sheet, a move to bring Jeremy Holisble aboard as their new head strength and conditioning coach. Yes, that Jeremy Holisble, 11 years with the Dallas Mavericks, athletic performance director extraordinaire, crowned the NBA's top strength and conditioning coach in March 2021. This is the architect behind Doncic's physical ascendancy. In Dallas, a reunion that sparkles with promise. According to Mark Stein, this signing isn't just about training, it's a signal that the Lakers are looking to fine-tune their scheme to a razor's edge. Holisble's expertise in managing elite bodies and conditioning frameworks dovetails perfectly with the Lakers' ambition to run a faster, more flexible offense. Imagine a more dynamic five-out spacing, crisply executed pick-and-roll coverages, and switch-heavy defensive rotations mirroring the sharp agility Doncic flaunted in his prime. This ripples through the rotation like an advancing wave. Players who thrive in pace and space, guards primed for floor-stretching minutes. Wing defenders ready to switch hard suddenly find their roles magnified. Meanwhile, those less conditioned to this up-tempo approach could find their minutes trimmed. The Lakers just inked Doncic to a 3-year, $165 million extension this July, signaling absolute commitment. But the man himself seems to understand that elite talent alone doesn't win rings. Peak conditioning does. After the heartbreak of last season's struggles and the ghosts of past finals heartbreaks still whispering, this move could mark a return to the grittiness and dazzling flair that defined Showtime's golden era, where fuel and finesse collided. In every possession, picture this: Holisble steps into the Lakers huddle, looks straight at the team, and says, "We're not here to practice basketball. We're here to build machines." Yes, that's me dramatizing, but you get the point. The Lakers know that adding this director of physical prowess can translate into razor-sharp execution, fewer injuries, and that intangible edge, the kind of edge that stretches deep into playoff bloodletting and buzzer-beating moments. But what comes next? How will this conditioning revolution alter coach staffing decisions, shift backcourt dynamics, or nudge the Lakers into more aggressive trade talks to complement this transformation? Will West rivals scramble to keep up with a leaner, meaner Lakers squad running the slicker, faster version of the purple and gold legacy? The pulse quickens as the front office's blueprint begins to reveal itself, one built on precision, conditioning, strategic scheme enhancements, and a superstar reborn. The question that now slices through the offseason silence: how far can this recharged Lakers engine roar before the real test lights up next April? Scoreboard. Showtime has returned, but this time, it's more than flash. It's a full throttle revival, and the final act is just beginning. If you've been riding this emotional roller coaster with me, Dub Nation, then smash that like button, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and keep those notifications on, because we are diving even deeper into the crossroads this franchise is standing at, and the truth is messier, riskier, and more electrifying than anyone wants to admit. Let's strip this down to the core. If Kuminga walks, if that Utah deal becomes reality, we are looking at a ripple effect that doesn't just change the depth chart. It rewrites the chemistry and the competitive DNA of this roster. Think about it, Jonathan Kuminga isn't just an athlete. He's the embodiment of every gamble the front office has made in the post-KD era, betting their raw potential, given enough time in the Warriors' ecosystem, could evolve into a star. That bridges the gap between Curry's final act and whatever comes next. Lose him, and you don't just lose his athleticism or upside, you lose a potential bridge to the future. Now, I can already hear the counter-arguments echoing through the Chase Center concourse. Niang is a prov, and floor spacer, a locker room glue guy. And those first-round picks are gold in a cap-strap league. And yeah, in the short term, you can talk yourself into it. Niang stretching defenses so Curry and Butler can carve them up. Draymond finding him wide open in the corner. The team regaining some of that smooth ball movement that stalls when Kuminga goes. Isolation heavy, but here's the problem: expiring deals like Niang's don't stick around unless you pay them, and those picks, they're lottery tickets in the Western Conference, where parity is so brutal that a single injury can turn a contender into a draft lottery team overnight, or vice versa. If you're banking on using those picks to land a star, remember, so is every other GM. And this is where the emotional layer cuts deepest, because Dub Nation knows what it feels like to watch a player leave and flourish elsewhere. Picture Kuminga in Salt Lake, the green light flashing every possession, dropping 20 a night with highlight dunks on national broadcasts. His name suddenly on the most improved players shortlist. Meanwhile, back in the Bay, we're squeezing minutes out of veteran legs, patching up the rotation with buyout scraps, and wondering if we overcorrected toward win now at the cost of win later. This is the chessboard Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy Jr. are staring at right now. And make no mistake, there's no safe move. Hold Kuminga, and you risk another year of underwhelming offensive fit and possible locker room frustration. Trade him, and you could be lighting the fuse on a future you no longer control. And don't think for a second the rest of the league isn't watching, because every front office smells opportunity in a moment like this. If the Warriors signal they're willing to move off a young asset for short-term stability, the calls won't stop. Rival G Miswell Pro for Moody, for Pajimski, for any piece they think could be pried loose before the curtain falls on this era. The timing couldn't be more volatile. The West is a minefield. Denver's still a juggernaut. Oklahoma City is rising faster than anyone expected. And even the so-called rebuilders like Houston are loading up with talent. The margin for error? Zero. Which brings us to the unspoken question: how much longer can Curry carry the load? Yes, he's defying time. Still one of the most dangerous offensive weapons alive. But he's also entering the phase of his career where every season becomes a precious commodity. Hold tight your chest squeezing like a vice, because this Lakers mess isn't just a shuffle. It's an all-out blitz that threatens to shatter the very blueprint of purple and gold history. And man, the air in Crypto.com arena feels thick. Enough to choke on as every ounce of fan adrenaline surges with electric charge, crawling under skin and straight to your heart's firing chamber, simmering with questions screaming louder than the roar after a clutch buzzer beater. Jeremy Holisble stepping into the Lakers' high-stakes chess match isn't just a new strength coach. It's a battle cry to every doubter who ever whispered that the Lakers' glory days were locked in a museum case, metaphorically chained to Shaq's dominance and Kobe's footwork. The bubble banner hanging like a memory no one dares touch, but everyone craves to relive. Now imagine the locker room, where LeBron James, the ageless architect still carving his legend, is watching every sprint, every drop sweat bead under the gym's harsh fluorescence, like a general staring down the barrel of his final campaign, forcing himself not just to adapt, but to ascend into a grimmer, sharper LeBron who refuses to be the last chapter in this saga, and instead becomes the fiery preface to a dynasty reboot. Yet, just as the charge builds, you sense the fissures. The delicate cathedral cracks beneath the power move. What happens to Anthony Davis, the big man who carried so much of last season's weight, both on his broad shoulders and in the fans' fragile hopes? Can AD endure this revving treadmill of a pace makeover without fracturing the iron will and fragile health history that has haunted him? You can smell that tension like ozone in the air before a storm. Two giants of this purple and gold kingdom forced into an uneasy pause. One pushing forward, one fighting to hold the ground, and the whole city watches with bated breath as the winds swirl with rumors that AD's camp and LeBron's inner circle are quietly lobbying for clarity, for power grabs disguised as teammates, for control that could fracture or forge this chemistry into something unseen since the days when Shaq thundered through pain and Kobe danced past defenders on sheer will. And then holed up beside this physical evolution lurks a coaching staff on the razor's edge. Frank Vogel's seat simmering like a furnace dialed to high, with whispers now seeping out that the Lakers brass aren't just upgrading conditioning. They're rethinking what it means to lead this team into a faster, more merciless era. What if Holisble's regime forces the coach's hands, pivoting schemes towards a brutal pick-and-roll assault that sacrifices old-school ESO moments, beloved by our legends? What if the very basketball that dazzled Showtime needs a reinvented playbook, with assistants scrambling for relevance, and the stalwart veterans pushed to adapt or be cast aside like relics from a different age? And don't sleep on the backcourt drama. Russell Westbrook stepping into this lean, 5-out attack? That's a seismic gamble, with his style hinged on physicality and relentless drive. Can Russ, in this new holo-conditioned universe, morph into the floor-spacing facilitator we're all craving? Or does this new Lakers blueprint spell the twilight of his tenure in purple and gold? Or better yet, what if that rumored trade chatter now ignites into a wildfire, sources buzzing about a potential deal involving a sharpshooting guard who's heating up the summer leagues, and an aging veteran out west whose name sends chills through rival front offices? Imagine this, the Lakers chasing the perfect complementary piece to Doncic's reborn engine, an elite wing who cuts through defenses like razor blades, providing the morphed Lakers squad with lethal spacing while ringing the death knell on stagnant lineups. But then a whisper, a low rumble, there's one clause hidden deep in the nuts and bolts of those trade talks. A no-trade kicker nobody in the mainstream has caught yet. A secret nugget that could explode this quiet market into a bloodbath, detonating alliances and forcing Adam Silver's office into damage control mode by midseason. And the West. Oh man, the gauntlet never looked this fierce. The Denver Nuggets, with Jokic's mesmerizing footwork and the newfound athleticism of Bones Highland, are circling with predatory patience, their rover defense sniffing out every Lakers misstep, every growing pang of locker room uncertainty. Phoenix's swagger, blistering and untamed, feels like a direct shot to our heart. Devin Booker bursting out of nowhere, guarded by a defense calculated to exploit any team chemistry fracture, hungry to snatch that second-best crown and hover ominously as the postseason draws near. The Clippers, they smell blood, to their roster carved out like a war machine molded for attrition, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce on any Lakers stumble. Warriors, ever the specters, ride shotgun on nostalgia, their steely precision reminding us that ring chasers never sleep, and the cold calculus of Curry, Thompson, and Green's experience could slice through our conditioning gambit like a hot knife through butter if we hesitate a fraction too long. Yet back inside purple and gold sanctums, the tension is tactile, players steeling themselves in grueling workouts orchestrated by Holisble, voices dipping lower in corridors where know-it-alls speculate if these brutal demands crush morale or ignite an untamable fire. Can this conditioning wizardry transform Luka Doncic into the unstoppable force we all envision? Or will it backfire, turning the team into a high-octane machine that fractures under playoff pressure, the weight of expectation sinking like a stone in our throats? The whispers spill beyond practice floors, front office in fevered debate over whether to double down on youth, calling in fresh fuel of draft picks and unproven talent, or chase the veteran stability that LeBron's Ridinghood still demands. The pulse races. It's like watching a high-wire act where every step could mean glory or disaster, and the crowd's breath is held, waiting for the wobble that turns into a catastrophic fall or the tightrope's tension that springs into a triumphant vault. And in every corner, the ghost of Showtime flicker, Magic's laser passes, Kobe's killer instinct, Shaq's sheer dominance haunting us with the intoxicating promise of what could be if this gamble pays off. But the pressure, oh honey, it's a pressure cooker where every snap could reverberate across franchise lore. Now, just imagine the playoff spotlight next April. Will this finely tuned Lakers beast roar and devour opponents like a pack of hungry wolves, or collapse under its own breakneck pace? Will LeBron lift his crown higher, butterfly wings of legacy fluttering unstoppable? Or will we see the twilight of an era tested like never before? As the question marks swirl like tornado winds, our hearts slam against rib cages, shouting for answers that hang tantalizingly out of reach. Every scar of last season's heartbreak threatens to resurface as we chase this holy grail of conditioning, speed, and recalibrated hope. And so, here we stand on the cusp of either the most stunning Lakers revival this coast has ever witnessed, or a gut-wrenching descent into chaos masquerading as reinvention. As a Laker till I draw my last breath, here's the storm I swear is coming. Now you tell me what's tearing at your gut, because trust me, this saga has only just ignited.